Welcome to today's reading, which will be what you don't see about yourself. We have 3 paths for you to choose from today. We have Group 1 with the Queen of Pentacles, Group 2 with the 2 of Cups, and Group 3 with the 4 of Pentacles. So you can take a moment to choose whichever pile you feel the most drawn to, and then we can move on and get started with Group 1. Hey, welcome Group 1 to your reading today on what you don't see about yourself. So I just want to take a moment to say welcome to everybody and thanks for joining us. If you've been here since I started doing this, then it's been a bit of a journey, and it seems to be really important and significant to you to recognize how far you've come, regardless of what comes out in the cards. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to take a moment to tune into the energy. Okay, so the first thing Spirit says is that you don't see the inability, your inability to recognize those around you, or their ability to harm you or something like that. Okay. All right, so there's definitely a lot that either seems that is just straight up you can't see, or it's concealed, or it's hidden, or it's in the dark. And then there's other things that I think are kind of blurry. They're kind of wish-washy. It might be hard for you to see where the boundaries are in what is right and what is wrong, and what is black and what is white, and what is this person taking a shot at you versus this person having a bad day where they accidentally take something out on you. I think if you were able to see yourself and this person side by side in the mirror, you would be able to tell the difference. I think if you were able to, there's distorted mirroring happening here on this other person's behalf. They're not really mirroring back to you accurately or the way would naturally happen. They're doing it on purpose. I have no training or qualifications or anything in this, and I think you know your own situation better than anybody. And if it's confirmation of something, of a situation that you already know you're in, or you've been suspecting, it might be something that you want to seek help with from the appropriate professional. I feel like this person could have some really strong narcissistic tendencies. I don't really like throwing that word around. I feel like it's definitely overused, especially with social media. So I'll pass the message on and I'll let you look into that. The thing is that I think that as time goes on, you grow you grow wise to this situation. You've undergone a lot of development and inner transformation. I think you might have been working really hard at this. Maybe you've had a break where you've been able to gain some sort of clarity, or you've had the ability to look into these things to try to get a clear understanding of what is right, what is wrong, what is poor treatment, what is ABUSE and what is not. And I think you can see things very clearly now. And I think some of you, or most of you, may have a strong tendency to want to call people out on these types of behaviors, or this specific person that's been coming through. And this, I don't know, this person could be a mother. It might not be. They just could have a... They could do things in like a feminine way. Like, I do feel like there's like a maternal, paternal thing here. So, okay, so something from like the fourth house, yeah. This could have to do with like parents, or how you grew up, or someone in the family home, or close family, something like that, that this person is fitting into your scenario. And I think that it's had a lot to do with how you've come up. Or I should correct myself, Spirit is saying that it's had a lot to do with how you've come up. But you know now, you can see through these things, and I feel like you have a much better ability to protect yourself and hold boundaries and assure that people will not mistreat you or step to you in a way that isn't okay. And I can't tell. I feel like for some of you, you're able to hit the nail on the head. Some of you might actually be really effective, sharp communicators, like very clear and concise. But it's like you might be able to, maybe some of you have like caught people in the act of something. Some of you may have called these people out, and it's kind of put them in a position where they're thinking about the things that they've done, but it doesn't match what I understand about these types of dynamics, because usually you wouldn't want to engage. It would be like trying to move away. And so for some of you, maybe you haven't given this person anything more than the minimal amount that you need to in terms of communication. Maybe some of you have been quite short and matter of fact and getting to the point and just moving on. And for you, those of you that are doing that, that's kind of your tactic or like way out of this scenario. And there, it does lead you to a point where, I don't know, what is it? It's like, okay, so what it is, there's people here at like different levels in this group, where some of you have been dealing with these types of energies for longer than other people, and you just have developed, you know, we all come up in different ways as well, but some of you have, whatever it is, it looks like no matter what way you've come about it, it looks effective. So whatever you've done seems to have been helping, and there's like a checkpoint of recognition. Spirit wants you to realize that you've learned how to navigate this situation in a way that's actually helped get you out of really sticky positions. Others of you, it may have, you know, temporarily put you in a position that was really awkward to contend with or get out of. But you did work your way out of it, or you realized something about the whole process that you had missed earlier on, or, you know, this far. I'm just getting like a really funny line from what is it? Stormzy sings a song. I can't remember the name of it, but he says like, "He who wears the crown." What is it? He who wears the crown wears the heavy. Oh, I can't remember. It's something about like the crown being really heavy for a person to wear. Like it's a lot of responsibilities and it's a lot of extra things to have to think about and contend with that. Yeah, okay. What I'll do for those of you that are interested in that, just because there could be a message in that song, is I'll actually find the song and I'll put the name under group 1 and you can go look at like the lyrics or go listen to it if you're interested in it. I think it's like it's like heavy is the head of he who wears the crown. Anyway, it's like it's still trying to come through because I didn't get it right the first time, so okay. There's something here about like people's insecurity and their sense of self that Spirit's trying to highlight here. It's I guess some of you may have been wondering or asking like, where does this type of behavior come from, or how do people get like this, or how are these situations born? And I guess in a very brief or vague short answer, the Spirit is kind of pointing out people's like insecurities and inability to survive, like they're trying to survive, so like a survival tactic, and like a poor sense of self, like a tainted sense of self, where it is more important than anything is their own sense of self. There's like a level of ego here that is it's a lot. The thing is that like ego is fine when it starts interfering with our ability to give ourselves a happy life that's fulfilling. Is, you know, it starts becoming a problem, and it obviously would like affect our relationships with people around us if it's very like heavily conflated ego. Okay, what else have we got? I do want to say I feel like we have lots of water energy here. Like there's, for those of you that are interested, we do have Cancer and Pisces. Maybe air as well, so like Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. They could be Scorpio as well. I don't really feel Scorpio, but I mean, just take what resonates. I wouldn't pay too much attention to it. I kind of feel like there might be like a really small group of people watching this reading that are needing that extra little bit of information, but there also could be like really heavy earth signs here as well, so like the Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn, but strong Cancer and Pisces energy as well. So but like strong 4th house energy. Yeah, that's I think a lot of it's like rooted in childhood, of where a lot of these things have started, and you know, even if it's not your own childhood in which these types of dynamics had been born, you'd been born into, but maybe for these people that you've been dealing with, it's a direct result of you know, these people, the way that they grew up in their childhood and their roots, and like their family roots, their paternal, maternal roots, particularly like the mothers seem to be really important here. Like there's a lot of like strong feminine energy here, and some that have the potential to be really like manipulative or calculated, or even a little bit like controlling, and then others that maybe have a lack of emotional availability as well. And I think, you know, all those things can be like hard to contend with, and we can't judge another person's scenario will come up. What we can do though is make sure that we are safe and that we are not, you know, engaging in situations that would not be healthy for us. So we're moving on. I think for a lot of you might go through like a period of like stagnancy. So some of you may kind of go through, it just depends. I feel like, you know, it's that thing where there's a timeline and a lot of you are at different points, you know, on the timeline. And so for some of you, you're like having this dawning realization now that like this is what's been playing out, and you're becoming aware. You're being enlightened in a way, like you're realizing these things that are kind of like in the subconscious or unconscious, and realizing kind of how far back it goes. And for some of you, you're like learning to pinpoint the exact behaviors and things that are really hard to be able to tell from most people. Most people would turn a blind eye, but to your naked eye, you're able to pinpoint it with finesse, and you're actually getting really good at it. So kudos to you. That's really hard. That's tricky. Anyway, and then others of you, you're like growing stronger in your sense of self, and maybe calling out situations that are incorrect, or yeah. Anyway, and then I feel like boundaries are good here. This group's done really well with boundaries and whatnot. So that's another kudos. Like there's a lot of wins here. So I think Spirit really wants you to recognize this is a thing that you don't see about yourself, right? It's like you've made a lot of progress here. Even if you don't think or feel like you have, it's like we don't always want to recognize where we had to start out from or start out at, because we don't want to, you know, revisit what that was like or anything, but it's kind of key to us moving on. Just a really quick weird thing, there might be people in this group that are kind of experiencing some sort of like shakes, like things that you would usually see it in, so what is it? No, not some sort of neurological conditions that people can get, like tremors. Yeah, tremors. There can also be like those drinking and juice, like alcohol drinking and juice tremors as well. I think this might be like neurological, though. There might be certain situations. This is for like a very small number of people in this group. You'll know if you've got tremors. I don't feel like it's something new that's going to start really happening for people here. If it did, it would be like within a day or two. It would be pretty close to the time that you watch this video. All my videos are timeless, so it wouldn't matter if you watch this video in a month's time. It would be a day's time from when you watched it. But yeah, such a small amount of people, but seem to be really significant and important, and I would pay attention to it. It's for some of you may not have. It may not have been like a, what do I want to say? This is tricky. I don't really know a lot about it. Because I would assume that things like that would have like an element of being passed down hereditary, like a hereditary type of condition. Like people, you know, certain bloodlines being like more prone to neurological conditions than others. But I think something about your situation, it could be like a nervous system reaction to being in like these situations long term, something like that. It's kind of like that, a physical manifestation of having lived this for a long time. Okay, now we're moving on. So, oh yeah, and the message is for some of you that are experiencing that I feel like it'll get better the more time you spend in nature. Get off screens, calm your nervous system down, you exercise, eat well, drink lots of water. But get outside in nature and be in quiet places if you can. Anyway, I don't want to pretend like I know that's going to help people. I don't really know what I'm channeling, if it's actually true in terms of science, so you might need to look into that or go you know, yeah, anyway. That's the message that's coming through. That's what I'm passing on. It's not substituting medical advice. Okay, so what have we got? Yeah, okay, so moving on. So people were pinpointing the patterns, and some of you would get like harnessing a really keen eye for like picking these people out in a crowd pretty quickly. Maybe not in a crowd, maybe after a conversation or after a couple meetings. Like you'll be able to tell, you'll be able to see like the red flags going forward. I don't feel like you'll ever fall for this again. I mean, I really hope not, but I feel like you have a pretty keen eye for discernment for it now. Okay. Anyway, so through your healing journey, it might be a bit of a stagnant point for some of you. You might feel like you're in a bit of a bind and you won't really know how to move forward. Like you'll feel stagnant. Like coming to this realization will make you feel stagnant in your progress or your ability to move on, but you've got to know that it's just part of the process. You are processing. It's like that illumination, the realization, maybe connecting the dots, and then you'll have an even clearer understanding. And I think at the end of this, you'll be so rooted and grounded in what you know and your sense of self that you'd kind of be formidable. Like, not formidable, it's not the right word. You're so grounded, it just wouldn't be able to happen. Like, it just couldn't. I think for some of you, you could be left with a sense of like nostalgia or a little bit of like loneliness or isolation at times, and it will be hard to see the prosperity and the beauty around you. But I think the other thing is that this group will, like, you know, not see about themselves is that you have like a lot of beauty. There's a lot of beauty in your soul. I feel like I think a lot of people in this group actually have like a lot of attractive features, whether you see yourself as attractive or not anyway. But you'll have a strong sense of self, a strong sense of belonging. You'll know that you deserve a place in this world, and you'll know your ability to give and the impact that you leave like upon the earth and the people that you come into contact with. It kind of leaves, like, has a bit of a legacy feeling here. I think that you'll probably be quite helpful. I kind of get like a gracious, like, or graceful, compassionate type of energy, but you're nobody's fool. Like, you're not. And then I think you kind of get to a point in life where you're able to enjoy the material things. And I know some people are just flat out not interested in that, but I think for some of you it'll kind of be like healing on its own. For some of you, some of the things that you may have experienced or enjoyed might have been the inability to enjoy these things because of the types of scenarios that unfolded. So yeah. Okay, so don't mind, I'm hoping that the background noise isn't too bad today. We actually have some roadworks happening in our street, but this is the only time I'll get to actually do this video. And the very last thing that Spirit kind of had coming in is like, don't stop thinking about the things that you want for yourself. You might think that you have you will probably have everything that you need and want, kind of, you know, in terms of like what's practical and what's good for you and what your soul kind of manifests. And, you know, it might not really, I think for a lot of you it really will be like material stuff, and it might not be for a long time. I don't know what that looks like for everybody. For some of you, just having this like really, really good health and good faculties, and being able to sit in nature and wear like nice comfortable clothes and just be in a beautiful garden and eat good food. For some of you, that's what it will look like. And it's kind of like a really healing, restorative, like it's like it brings back hope. It's very healing. It's like a healing balm. It's kind of like, yeah, anyway. And then I think it restores you to a point where you will get back to thinking about wanting more for yourself within the world, and working out where you want to go from here and what's next, and what you do really want for yourself. Like, what else is there to life? It's like a lot of stability and security to be able to like focus on something else and kind of go chasing after some sort of like passion or like really strong interest, or even, I don't know, for some of you, like it's hard to explain what I'm getting through, kind of like refuge missionary type work, but that's like a very, very small group of people, where it's kind of like wanting to pass on that hope and impact to other people. It's like a strong sense of wanting to help people. But I feel like for a lot of you, it's really just going to be like a discovery and adventure, and doing things that you really enjoy, and, you know, enjoying life in the finer moments. And I don't know, I almost feel like the finer years, so maybe some of the latter years of your life, I'm not sure. It wouldn't surprise me if you did travel, or you like, you know, wanted to be in contact with different cultures, or you know, even if you, I'm not really sure, it will look like different things for everybody. But for some of you, it's like a sense of purpose and passion. I think that's what it is majorly for everybody. So okay, anything last minute here? Okay, so what you don't see about yourself is you've come a really long way. You might not have recognized kind of how far down you started. Like, okay, I feel like I've not phrased that well, but you might not have realized where it was you started from, and yeah, how far you've come, and this very keen eye for discernment, and your ability to like process things and move on and heal yourself, and, you know, come back to a time where things will be peaceful again. Okay, well done, group one. Thank you for joining me here. It's a pleasure to have you on my channel. If you haven't already, and this video resonates, or you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in another one. Thanks. Okay, welcome group 2. If you chose the 2 of Cups, then this will be your reading on what you don't see about yourself. Some of you may not realize that you can either come off like with a stark contrast to how you feel like, you know, there's your internal view of how you present within the world, and an external view of how you present within the world kind of to other people. So there might almost be a disconnect between your intentions and what is received, or how people understand you, or something like that. And it might come off disingenuous, but I think that when people get to know you over time, that there is actually like a really strong energy here of just having like an ultimate goal of like fulfillment and really supportive relationships that mean a lot and last with us like a long time, like a lifetime throughout the life. And having good people in our circle and wanting to give back just as much as they give to us. And I don't think you're like the type of person to you know, be keeping check on how much you give out versus what is given back. Like, I don't think this group is particularly worried about, you know, accidentally giving a little bit more than what they receive, because you know that there's this like long-term, the longevity of the relationship. and that's what you're focused on. And I think for the most part, it's actually really well received and usually returned. But it kind of gives me the energy of people that they see you on the outside, they don't understand it, it looks like one thing, but it's actually another. And to me, I feel like it's actually quite clear here that they just don't know you, or they're too far away, or there's something about like how you present that it just kind of catches them off guard or has them on the back foot. And because they don't understand it, then it's like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if this group could like potentially come off a little bit like strong at times. I'm not sure, because it doesn't even really feel like that. Or I don't know, maybe you do, but that's kind of the energy that I feel these people are receiving it as. So there's something here where I'm not sure if they're distracted when they come into contact with you, or they just can't recognize your energy. Like, these people just may genuinely not had the experience in life of coming across a person like you. I look around and I see that you just really want good things for everyone involved, like for yourself, for the people you're in the relationships with, the longevity, the children, the adults, like everyone. It really seems like a lot of equal give and take, and just having fun and just looking after each other. And I kind of even feel like this group does the little things that really matter. Like, I don't know if that's right to say that they matter, but this group does the little things that people would just pass off as though they don't matter. But when you do them, people absolutely love them. And I think people will sometimes just see it and think maybe it's a little bit childish or something, but when they're on the receiving end of it, they're like, oh my god, that's so beautiful. And it kind of inspires them or influences them to want to do those things too. And I think, if anything, this group, you're probably a lot more influential than what you realize. And there's a lot of beauty and tact in the way that you actually present and go about things, whether people want to recognize that or not. And I think you're quite grounded, and you'll get to a place where you have everything that you need, even if you don't have it now. And a lot of you might be like running kind of on relationships in terms of resources, and it might take you a while, it might take you time, but I do feel like you'll become established within yourself and like a level of independence where you're not relying on these relationships as much, but you are still able to step into or maintain that like supportive relationship, you know, with that focus on longevity. I think it seems like it is apparent and very important to this group for people to be doing the right thing. There's not, maybe not the right thing, I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I think it's important for people in this group to have people around them with like those honest intentions. They have shared values and morals. So maybe it's weird because this is meant to be what you don't see about yourself. So I'm not sure if they are things that just come naturally to you, like really innate, and it's just part of you and your being, and you don't really like think of yourself in that way, but maybe it strikes a chord or makes sense. Like the things that are really important to you, like, you know, a friendship and close people in your life, close supportive relationships and children and learning and like just enjoying life and having really good balance and things. I think there's definitely an element of people here in this group that can really lean into their spirituality as well, whatever that looks like. And being integrated. What else do we have? Yeah. This group may be more secure or confident in themselves than what they realize. Yeah, that might be something that you don't see about yourself. Even if you still feel quite insecure at a lot of points. Yeah, I can't tell. There's something here about it. Maybe a hang up on confidence or something, but it's kind of like, maybe that's what other people can't tell, is that people mistake you being yourself for a type of confidence that they don't understand or something. Okay, here we go. I think people might not understand like your self-worth or self-love journey. They might not understand that you too still have insecurities or things you want to work on, or not always feel like you belong, something like that, because it's like all they see is you emanating confidence or something. And I think that people don't know not everyone knows what to do with that. I feel like we're getting off track now, because this is why it keeps coming back to other people. So maybe one of the things that you don't see about yourself is how much other people are still influencing you, or how much, I don't know, what is it? Because I feel like you're living your own life. So I don't think you're letting people dictate anything to you. There could be, I don't know, there's something here. There could be some sort of like funny mirroring thing happening. What you don't see about yourself. I'm just going to take a moment and see if I can actually pull something through in a different way, and see if there's any other messages that I may have missed here. Your ability to make to make friends with ease. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I mean, it makes sense because this is a lot about relationships and whatnot. It's kind of like Spirit is recognizing that you do it well. It's like you've got it down to like a fine art. Even if it comes natural to you and you don't feel like you have to do anything and you're not really trying, or maybe you feel like you do try. I don't really know. I'm going to stop saying all the things it could be, because that's the message. Spirit is saying one of the things that you don't see about yourself is your ability to make friends with ease, or like be friendly or establish relationships that are friendly in nature or something like that. Like, you have the ability to build strong, lasting, deep connections that are supportive, and it actually gives you a great level of influence and abundance in your life, and it will be powerful for you navigating throughout the rest of your life. And Spirit is proud of you and wants you to recognize that within yourself. Thanks for joining us today, Group 2. I hope this is helpful in some way, and I'll see you all in another video. Welcome group 3 to today's reading, which will be what you don't see about yourself. So the Four of Pentacles is our starting card. We'll just take a moment and see if we can get anything else here before we pull more cards. Spirit wants you to know that you're like welcome here. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Okay, so Spirit said that you need to stop holding on so tight to everything within an arm's distance. So that might be the thing that you can't see about yourself. So we'll take some more cards and see what else we get. If we get a bit more specific information on it, or if we actually get extra points come through. So okay. Okay, so we are having judgment come through as a theme as well. Now, with this group, I'm not sure if it's a case that, I don't know, you may have been judged harshly in the past or received a lot of judgment. You may also have been a person that has either harshly or judged a lot of other people over a longer period of time or something like that as well. So it doesn't really matter what side of it you're on, but more the point that judgment itself is a theme that's coming up. And quite often they can go hand in hand as well. Because quite often the people that are, you know, making a lot of judgments are being judged very harshly. So it's kind of, they're trying to keep themselves to a standard, appeasing people around them. And yeah, I don't need to go into that. It's not part of the message. Okay, so now one of the things that you could be holding on to is this judgment. It could be keeping this judgment. It could be doing a couple of things to you. It could be keeping you in your place. Could be keeping you, like making you hold yourself back, like keeping you from achieving more. And it could be keeping you in a lack mentality. Yeah. I feel like it is no real accident for some of you that you've received such a type of judgment, because I believe there may be more to it than just judgment. Okay, so, but that's not for everybody, and it is something that human beings naturally do, okay? It's not, yeah. I don't know if anyone could ever say they've gone through their life and like not judged another person at some point in time. It's part of a survival, you know, mechanism and whatnot as well. So okay, okay, so it looks like some of you may have been doing some work on yourself, or you've been trying to extend an offer to another person, but this other person's like very focused on like the material, and so it could be like an unrequited love, or wanting to like share company and time and relationship and support with another person, or like fulfillment with another person, only to realize that they're more focused on like the physical wealth, like, you know, the physical manifestations, like physical objects and money and like yeah. And I don't know if it is making you compete, or this person compete, or maybe it's a point of conflict between the two of you. Okay. Yeah, it definitely seems like there's a focus, like a lot of focus on emotions, like feelings and the things that are coming up, and almost being consumed by them. And sometimes when these emotions come up, we're not grounded enough in the way that we move forward. We let it like fuel our next steps, and it could take away the ability to be well thought out or grounded in whatever situation you're faced with. For some of you, may not like feeling vulnerable, and you may get defensive, or you may want to put a stop to whatever it is that brings these emotions up. Almost like a feeling of inadequacy or insecurity or something like that. But I think that you are probably more like competent, or like, what is it, like you're more adept than you realize. Like that's one of the things that you don't see about yourself. It's almost like you're not seeing kind of what it is that's happening, but you're not seeing how your strengths. This group may have a hard time seeing their own strengths and weaknesses, or what they perceive as a strength and weakness. Yeah. And it could leave you feeling clouded, or it could leave you feeling like you have a lack of stability or something like that. There's also a second thing going on here, where there's like two different people's energy coming through in this group, so I'm not sure what side of it that you're on. We have this man holding the Four of Pentacles here, and this is that energy of like not wanting to let things go, and potentially living in that like lack mentality mindset, or holding on to things that they don't need to. And it's like, you know, when they try to give someone everything that they have, and they see that the person isn't interested in it, there is some sort of like conflict or competition that they enter into. And I think what could happen, it's almost like a self perpetuating cycle, that they then just clasp more to like what it is that they have because of the scenario unfolding, and they're never really moving forward because they're not focusing on themselves. They're focusing on other people, and it's like external validation, potentially unrequited love, or not gaining like the affection or attention or something of another person that there could be like strong feelings for, or you could just love that person even if it's not like a romantic type of love. And it doesn't end well. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't help anyone. If anything, it could almost end up being like just an unnecessary drama in your life. Yeah. So that's one person. And the other person here, like represented by the Judgment, I don't know if they're necessarily doing as much judging as they feel they are receiving judgment. And this is that like over focus on emotions and feeling consumed by them and overwhelmed by them, and feeling like all you can do is take action to try to like resolve it, instead of like sitting with it and letting it all calm down. It's like almost letting it fuel the fire and escalating a situation to where you act without being grounded or thinking or taking time to really process things or work out how you feel. And it's okay to know that some people, you might need a little bit longer than other people if that's you. For some of you, this might not be two separate people. It might just be like two parts, two different topics here, two different things that you don't see about yourself, okay? But it's, you know, if this is you, it's okay to take time to work out how you feel about things when, you know, you are feeling judged or people are trying to say that you're doing this to them or something like that. It's okay to take time to work out how you feel, sit with it. I don't know, maybe you go inwards for a little bit, maybe you talk to people. You don't necessarily need to get defensive or try to shut people down or anything like that. It is more of a reflection of themselves than it is of you. And you don't need to engage with it. But I understand that these situations could be a lot more like complex than the message that Spirit is giving me to pass on. So I do feel like there is probably a lot more nuance to some of this than what I'm getting. Like, I'm not seeing the whole picture. And I think that could be another thing. It's kind of hard to say, like, you probably are experiencing a bit of both, where like maybe, well, like this reading is the things that you don't see about yourself. So you definitely could have things that you're not seeing about yourself where you don't have the whole picture, but there's also things that other people are not seeing about you, like where they don't have the whole picture, or it's about themselves. Do you know what I mean? There's things that they're not seeing about themselves. So yeah, definitely a type of like mirroring happening there. Yeah. And I don't know what else do we have. I just like, one side of it here is that we're not focused enough on ourselves or making ourselves a priority versus like other people or validation. And the other side here is that we're almost so, it almost seems like it's again being worried about like other people, what other people think, or that validation or acceptance. Yeah, I think acceptance, hey. Because you don't need people's acceptance. You only need your own acceptance. And I think that you're probably a lot stronger than you realize, or maybe more in depth than people give you credit for, or people see that you're a strong person and they want to nip it in the bud. Actually, at the start, I was getting an energy of like, what is it? The poppy. There's like an Australian saying about the poppies. What is it? The poppies. There's like, to try to explain it with the best of what I can remember, it's like if you could imagine that the people are flowers, and that, you know, when one of the poppies grows taller than another, it overshadows, you know, the other poppies, and they don't get as much sunlight, and they're kind of kept short. And so sometimes people will intentionally cut another person down to keep them the small poppy, to stop them overshadowing, you know, other people or themselves. So hopefully that makes sense. This could be a case where people have tried taking shots at you to keep you small or keep you short. Even if it come off in a way that wasn't very overt or obvious, they could have said things to you without even realizing that they were doing it, or living through that judgmental lens, and they might not realize the pattern that they're playing out. But I don't want to pretend that they're not naive either. I think they know that it's not right, but I just don't think they realize maybe the effect or impact it can have on other people. And but there's definitely people here. There's 100% a big chunk of these people that, you know, group threes had to deal with over their time that have intentionally cut you down to keep you feeling small, or to keep you in that lack mentality, or to stop you overshadowing them. Like, it could be a case that they didn't want the spotlight taken off them. And I don't know, it's weird because for some of these people that are like doing this too, they're already in positions of power, or they're already, I guess, would be considered like a leader, or they're really good at what they do, or they're confident, or they're quick, or they're like, you know, funny or attractive, whatever it is. Like, they're already like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, you wouldn't have been out to get them, and they're already strong in who they are, that there's no need to compete. Like, I think that they probably felt threatened by you in some way, and they didn't realize how much it was actually affecting them. And for some of you, if that is you, that, you know, has like live that out in your life, being a person feeling threatened by other people, and, you know, sometimes being that person to cut others down, there might be messages for you in group 1 that could resonate if you already felt drawn to it. And it's more specifically relative to like the 4th house. You know, that might, I don't know, for any of you that might be into astrology, that might be something that you'd like to look into, is any placements you have in the 4th house, or going back to like our family roots, or our childhood, or our, you know, maternal and paternal, you know, parental figures. And there could be a lot there to be said for, you know, the reason why some things have played out the way they have, and that's okay. And all we can do is kind of learn and move forward. Like, you know, become aware, we recognize it, and we choose how we would like to move forward in the world, and we take responsibility and ownership for how we show up moving forward. So, yeah. Okay, group 3, that's actually everything that I have for you for today's reading. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thank you for joining us. It's great having you here with me. And if this resonates for you, or you enjoyed it, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all in another video. Take care.